Can you imagine I won that giveaway? And slowly that giveaway changed my life. Today, I've taught thousands and thousands of students online and offline. And yes, there are so many students who have successfully started their own career, their own business in this resin art. So the ones who have joined this class having no knowledge, the ones just for the beginners, what I would call it, you are at a perfect place, because this is going to be a beginner friendly class where we are going to teach you from the basics in a complete perfect manner. Also, the ones who have joined here who have some knowledge about resin, don't worry, I will be giving you some pro tips here where you can polish up your knowledge. And also the ones who have joined here to take this as a profession, as a business, as a career, as a side business, to earn money out of resin, you are all again at a perfect place, because we have some amazing surprise in the end. So this class is not a recorded class. I would repeat it. This is not a recorded class. There are no recordings available of this class. So please have your notepads or notebooks ready so that you can note down some important points. So this class generally goes in the theory part first and the practical part followed by it next. So, and this is a beginner friendly class, so I won't be taking up more and more detailed process, because you need to understand the basics first. And I believe any practical that experiment or any such kind of thing that you're doing, you need to understand the theory, and then only you can jump onto the practical. Resin purely being a chemical, you need to understand the pros and cons, where you can go wrong, which way you can go wrong, how to cure it. So this is why theory part is very, very important. It plays an important role. So we take it this way, the theory and the practical followed next. Also, if everything is just perfect, if I'm perfectly audible, if I'm perfectly visible, then just a thumbs up or any reaction in the chat box and we'll just begin ahead. Okay, great. I hope my language is easily understood by you all. For Hindi, दिस क्लास, ये क्लास को मैं हिंदी में अगर मैं ट्रांसलेट करने की ट्राई करूंगी तो बहुत ही ज्यादा टाइम कंज्यूमिंग हो जाएगा. तो इस वजह से मैं ये जो क्लास होगा मैं काफी सिंपल इंग्लिश टर्म में रखूंगी. अगर फिर भी आपको कुछ भी कंफ्यूजन हो, कोई भी आपको क्वेरी हो, तो आप मुझे आखिर में आपके क्वेश्चंस पूछ सकते हो. ठीक है. So this class is basically going to be in a very simple English language. So if there's any such question, any queries regarding the process, the theory, any doubt that you have, we will be having a Q&A session in the end. So you can just note down your questions. If in case that I miss any of your questions, I will be there to solve or to answer it later on. You don't need to worry, because here in the chat box, the messages really keep on flooding more at just once. So I also have my other device, which is my right side. So if in case that I'm looking towards my right, don't panic. I'm just looking on the screen, going through the messages. And still, if in case that I miss any of the message or the questions or the messages, please feel free to ask me in the later end where we have the Q&A session. Okay, so we'll just begin up with this class. So we are talking a lot about resin art. The materials and all, don't worry. The brand's name, the colors, and everything that I will be teaching you or that I will be saying you in today's class will be sent to you all on the BitClass application. You just have to download the BitClass application, and today under the 23rd May date, you will be able to find the group. There I will be sending you with the materials list there. Okay, I'm sorry, I just okay. So there I will be sending you the list of the materials there itself. You don't need to worry. What is it? Materials were already provided. The materials list was already provided, but still if you don't have it, you don't need to worry. After this class, you can easily search out. Okay. So let's just quickly begin up with this class. So what is resin art that we're talking a lot about? Any idea what resin is? The resin itself, anybody, any idea what resin is? Okay, yes, it is a chemical, which I already said earlier. Apart from it, any idea what is it about? Okay, polymer. Apart from it, anybody? Chemical, yes, it is a chemical. Sticky material, yes, it is. Okay, so resin basically comes in a set of two bottles. The resin and the hardener together. Yes, the chemical term for resin is known as an epoxy resin. Okay, epoxy resin. You never get the resin alone. You never get the hardener alone. You always get the resin and the hardener together. You just can't go at a shop and say, "Bhaiya, mujhe sirf resin dena, bhaiya, mujhe sirf hardener dena." No, that is not possible at all. So you always get it together, the resin and the hardener. So here I'm saying epoxy resin because I'm constantly using it. But let's say if you are a beginner and you really want to try and experiment with the different brands, so in such cases you can definitely just go and purchase a smaller 300 ml or 200 ml sample bottles, whichever are available. You can purchase that and experiment, so that you have a proper idea about the brand, how does it really work, how does it really react once you're working. So all the brands will have the smaller sample bottles available. So the resin which you get from the nature is not something that you can really use. You have to use a resin which is properly processed. Properly processed here means it has to be properly processed, and this is why we use a resin which is which the industrial resin and all, you can't use that. You have to use the resin which is only for art and craft purpose. Apart from it, you can't use any other resin. Why? It's because you get multiple kinds of resin in the market. Like myself being an interior designer, I also use a resin which is you used to just fill up the gaps in between the tiles. You also have the resin which is just made for the floors. You have the resin for the industrial usage, and you have n number of resins usage outside. So you just have to keep it in mind that there is a resin which is for the art and craft purpose. Okay, just keep that in mind. Again, you have the UV resin, you have the industrial resin, and the art and craft resin. Just keep that in mind. Okay, coming back to the resin qualities that you have to keep it in mind before purchasing. They are, see, why am I talking not about the resin brand, the good brand? It plays a very, very important role. Like if you just go at a normal stationery shop or a hardware shop, you just ask them, I want resin. So like I myself have had such bad experience. This is why I'm just saying, so that you guys are very careful while purchasing it. So they just gave me a bottle saying just a sticker mentioned on it, which was the resin and the hardener. That's it. No other details. If you can just see here, there are multiple instructions mentioned here. So you just have to keep it in mind that go through the detailed instructions here. So because these are the things which you just have to follow blindly. Any resin bottle or any brand that you're purchasing, you have to follow it blindly no matter what. Okay, so these really instructions are very, very helpful. So you really require that. For every brand, the instructions are going to be varying from 500 to 1000 words. So, and other things again keeping in mind is, if you purchase a bad brand resin, what happens is your resin won't really get hardened up. It will be sticky all the time. It would be, even if it dries off, it will be, rubbery like thing. It won't get 100% solid. It won't have that shine, the shine, the gloss that we really want on our artworks. You have seen the videos of the resin art products where the shine is just so amazing that you at once, trust me, even you would have thought that it is a glass piece and it is not resin. But resin is known for its shine, so the shine really matters here when you're purchasing the good brand resin. So the shine, the gloss needs to be stayed for a longer period of time. Again, you just have to make sure that you keep it in mind that the good brand resin, even if it is under the sunlight, it won't turn yellowish in color. It won't really get faded. So this is how the good brand resin really matters a lot. I am repeating the same thing again and again. Please, the list of the materials I will be sending you on the PitClass application of all the resin brands, the colors and everything there, because there are multiple good brands. This is why it is very, very important, so that you have a proper list of the materials. Okay. uh, Again, about the other questions, I'll just try answering it, but apart from it, the link, I mean the flow even gets disturbed. So I'll just try to answer if the question is in the same process. Okay. Coming back to the resin thing again, the resin, even if it is, if you keep it under the sunlight, the gloss, the shine won't really get faded. So it's very, very important to choose a good brand resin. Okay. So even whenever there is, if you're choosing a good brand resin, again, it really affects on the shine, on the end result. There is that will be there no matter what. Even if you purchase like a smaller, or like let's say a medium range resin, or the most good brand resin, they will be having the bubbles no matter what. Okay, they will have it. If there is any brand who says no bubbles, please don't trust those brands. If there is something that if they say that it is not scratch resistant, not stain resistant, please don't trust that brand. You will have the bubbles coming off from it, but the scratches and stains, we don't want any such kind of scratches and stains on our artwork. Okay, apart from it, you will have the fumes coming off from it, you will have the chemical reaction which it will be happening, so the glass will get kind of bit hot. So you don't need to worry about all these things. Okay, so now coming to the things to be kept in mind before pouring resin. Okay, so you just have to make sure that you cover your table or the floors with a plastic or a newspaper beneath, so that you don't really spoil them. The kids above 10 to 12 age can only perform this art form because this is a chemical and which will have the fumes coming off from it. So please don't allow the kids, if they are very younger than that, don't allow them to do this. The pregnant ladies, the breastfeeding moms, the asthmatic people, and the skin conscious people, please, if you're regularly into this art form, take your doctor's advice and only perform this art form. But if you're doing, let's say, for only temporary purpose, that is completely okay. Just make sure that you put on the normal N95 mask and the gloves, so that you don't come in direct contact with the resin. Even for the normal people, please put on your mask and the gloves when you're working with resin. Any plastic gloves, any nitrile free gloves, any kind of gloves, but please just protect your skin, your hands, so that you don't come in direct contact with the resin. Then again, coming back to the room, it you have to sit in a proper ventilated space. Please don't sit in a suffocated place. Sit in a proper ventilated space. Make sure that your room is completely dust free. Why? Because resin is a huge enemy for dust. Dust, the resin takes minimum 12 to 24 hours time to dry. So this is why during those slow drying process, if your room is completely filled with dust particles, it will get stuck on your artwork, spoiling the shine of it. So it's very, very important, so that you just keep your room dust free. The furry pets and babies are again not supposed to be in that same room. Okay, you have to keep them in a separate room. And after completing, you just have to cover your artwork. I hope the instructions, the details till here, it's just perfect. I hope I'm not going, in a much speed. I hope you all are able to understand whatever that I'm really trying to convey here. If yes, just a thumbs up would really, okay. Again, this thumbs up or a reaction would mean that you guys are still awake and not sleepy at this peak time. Okay, great. Great. Perfect. So yes, I'm really great. I'm really glad that you guys are still awake. Okay. Thank you. Just okay. So here I want this answer from each one of you. Okay, from each one of you, because I know you guys have the answer for this question. What all things have you made or have you seen that can be made out of resin? In the chat box now. What all things have you seen or have you made? Wow, many. Yes, I want those many names. Okay, coaster, keychains, jewelry, earrings, key holders, clock, photo frames. Okay. Yes, decorative items. Wow, that's great. Coaster, you make that. Frames, clock, earrings, nameplate, coasters, pendants. Okay. Showpiece like the tabletop. Yes. Tray. Yes. Apart from it. Okay. Keychains, coasters, ring. Okay. Tabletops. And yes, the list is just endless. and still I am getting the non-ending answers here. My chat box is just flooded. Okay, so these all are the things, yes, you can make out of resin. Yes, a big yes to all of these things. You can make all of these things out of resin. Why? Yes, definitely. The Quran stand, yes, you can make out of it. The clock and the trays. So why did I ask you this question here? Let's say somebody will say that yes, the combs, lamp. I use yes to all of these answers. Many things which we will use and embrace in our daily life, day-to-day life. Yes, definitely. So you will say that you know, you can make n number of products out of resin here. So imagine if you guys picking up one object, one thing in resin, learning it properly and making money out of it. So just imagine if you are making n number of products, is again you will be multiplying your money out of it. So you can just make anything out of resin and earn amazing money out of resin. Why am I saying this? It's because there is no such thing called no in resin. Like, you know, I would sound crazy, but trust me, I am totally crazy for resin. There is no such thing called no in resin. You will say that you sound crazy a bit now. Why? Because you also get the liquid silicone in market where you can customize and create your own molds. So again, there is no such boundary called no in resin. You can make your products, you can just do anything out of resin. Again, resin is the only art form, I repeat, it's the only art form which nobody can copy it 100%. Resin is known for its abstract art form. So if there's anybody who's trying to copy you in the market outside, it is not at all possible. Even if I try to make my own artwork, just a day before that I've done, it's not possible because resin is known for its abstract art form. So you just can't control resin, and 100% same replica, it's not at all possible. So you stand unique in the market where nobody can really copy your artwork. So isn't it amazing that resin is just, and also the ones I know you all won't be doing along with me, but just by watching it, you will really feel that it is a soothing process. You will really enjoy the process. So if you are watching it, you will enjoy it more and more. It's a stress reliever for me. It really works that way. Okay. So in today's class, I will be using an MDF base. Okay, this is an MDF base that I have. So MDF is known as a softwood. You can definitely use the hardwood for your base. Any kind of hardwood is again okay. Why do MDF is preferred more? What do you want me to repeat? Please type again. So why is MDF used more by the artists these days? It's because MDF is it's easily really available in the market. Plus it is lighter in weight, it has clean edges as compared to the hardwood, and also it is cheaper as compared to the hardwood. So here minimum 3 mm thickness is required if you are using any such artwork base. Like, you know, if you go for very thin base, the resin won't be held properly on the base. So this is why you require minimum 3 mm thickness. um just try. I Tanya, I hope my video and audio it's just perfectly clear.
Perfectly audible and very clearly visible.
Okay, so the ones facing any issues, you can just try rejoining in. Don't worry if you are
Ma'am, your voice is gone in between.
um actually due to, you know, the bad weather outside, it's just going that way. But if it is okay now, Tanya.
Yeah, perfect, perfect.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. It's just that due to bad weather outside, we are facing such issues here. Yes, definitely you can work on the canvas base as well. अभी video perfectly दिख रहा है. Okay. So we will be using the MDF base for today's artwork. You can work on the glass surface, you can work on the canvas surface, you can work on the metal surface, on stone surface, you can work on only one kind of paper, which is known as UPO paper. It's YUPO, UPO paper. Okay, so the alcoholic artists know that because they work on such kind of paper. Apart from it, plastic is a huge no. You can't work on plastic for your artworks, because if I'm using here, after the resin is dried, I can easily peel it off. So this is why you can't use the plastic as a base surface, because it won't be holding it for a longer time. Any kinds of molds that you have, you can work on the molds. Any molds that you want to work. Yes, molds to hamesha rahega hi rahega. Yes. So what we'll be doing is, I will be taking an MDF base and I will be priming it. Okay, chocolate molds. Okay, so if there is anybody who is a cake artist or chocolate, the ones who are making into edible things, please don't use your edible molds for resin. If you are using to make something out of resin, keep your edible mold separate and resin mold separate. Don't mix it, because एक बार resin mix होने के बाद आप उसको वापस chocolate में use नहीं कर सकते हो. Please, please, please. Soap molds and resin molds you can use together. Candle molds and resin mold you can use together, but you can't use the chocolate and the resin molds, together for one purpose. Okay, please. Yeah, if you have it separate, you can definitely use it. I'm sorry, I'm really skipping up with the questions because I'm having a lot of questions here. So this is an MDF base that I will be using today. Okay, so the wood being porous in nature, we have to prime our surface. Priming is again very, very important here. If you don't prime it, the pores here will absorb the resin and it won't really let the resin flow in an equal manner. So this is why it's very, very important to prime the surface. Okay, so I'll just get my acrylic color here. Just give me a moment. Allow me a moment. Okay, so I'm here. So you can use the white acrylic color to prime your surface, or you can use gesso. It's GESSO, gesso, to prime the surface. Okay, so they work as a primer. You can use any normal paintbrush, or I'm using a silicone brush here to prime the surface. Okay, just the front side, I will be priming it. Okay, and here I'm not going to use the water. Can anybody tell me why am I not going to use the water here? Anybody? Any guess? This is the white acrylic color. Here, MDF base, only one layer of this primer is just perfect, because MDF is less porous as compared to the hardwood. Okay. Yes, water and resin is a huge enemy. Water and resin don't work well with each other. Comparing to the base is how many layers do you want to apply. So if you're using the hardwood as a base, minimum 2 layers. For MDF, 1 layer is completely okay. Let's say if you're using canvas, I said yes for canvas, right? But canvas is again highly porous. So what do you need to do in that way? You have to apply the primer, the white acrylic color or the gesso. But here minimum 3 layers is important. Minimum 3 layers, it's very, very important, so that all the pores, canvas is highly porous, so it's very, very important that you prime the pores. All the pores are completely sealed under the primer. Okay, make sure that you apply it properly. I'm just applied the white acrylic color on the surface. Okay. MDF is known as a softwood. You can easily find MDF at any hardware store, or if there is anybody who's making the frames, the photo frames, they will be having these material with them, so you can easily find them at any local stores. Okay, so coming back to this, so I've just primed the front. How about the back side? Should I do anything on the back side, or should I leave it as it is? Any suggestions? Any suggestions here? For glass, you don't need to prime it because glass doesn't have any pores on it. Leave it. Okay. Kindness, yes. Tape it for the trips. Yes. Breathe again. Yes. 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 Why am I asking you all these questions here? It's because let's just have a look at this. Let's just look at this. Yes, it looks indeed beautiful, right? This is a beautiful coaster which I had made, or maybe I can say a tiny artwork which I made when I was a beginner. Trust me, I knew it, the ways where I can go wrong, but I was so desperate to try resin that I thought I would be able to control resin even if I go wrong anywhere. Trust me, it really thought that, I would really try to control if I go wrong anywhere. But I really went wrong here. You need to understand, if I turn it on the back side, there are a lot of drips here. Why did I get these drips here? The drips will be mandatory. You will be getting these drips on the back side, but you have to apply any such kind of abro tape or masking tape or the liquid latex on the back side. I will be showing you how to apply it. But here you need to understand the drips will be there. So you have to apply something so that after the resin dries off, you can easily peel it off or remove it off. So here, my amazing artwork, this is something that I am showing you my mistakes, and I can say that I'm showing you my mistakes so that you all are able to learn from my mistakes. You don't have to feel shy to show up your mistakes. It's because you have really learned from your mistakes. So just feel proud that yes, at least there is somebody whom I'm teaching, and I would be proud that you guys don't really commit up the same mistakes that I did when I was a beginner. Okay, this is why, but you just have to learn from it so that you don't really keep on repeating your mistakes again. Okay, so I will be using the liquid latex. I will be showing you how to use the liquid latex on the back side of the artwork. So here, just one layer doesn't really take a lot of time to dry. You can simply move your finger, okay, and touch and just check that the color is dried properly or not. Okay, yes, I will repeat it, don't worry. So I definitely, the tape, it is that easy. You just have to apply it. Let's say even if you want to cover your this surface, the thickness as well, you can apply the tape here exactly and then cover it on the back side. Put it up on the back side. Okay, the cello tape or masking tape or the abro tape, you can use any of these kinds of the tape. Okay, apart from it, there is the liquid latex. Why am I saying you and explaining you with all these materials? So let's say that you don't have one material, you definitely have the other alternate in your mind, which I already have given you so many alternates so that you can work on such alternates. Okay, to show that it would be difficult. The tape is very, very easy. I'm showing you the hard process here of how to apply the latex. Okay. So I'm taking the latex in the cap, and here you can use the normal silicone brush. You can use an earbud, or you can use the ice cream sticks to apply here. Don't use your paintbrush. If you use your paintbrush, you have the possibility of really spoiling up your whole paintbrush in that sense. So I'm just applying on the edges. Make sure that you don't leave any gap here. If you leave a gap here, you're allowing the resin drips to be staying there for forever. Okay. So I'm just applying here on the edges because the edges are the ones who are going to have the drips the most. Okay. Don't leave any gap in here. This works like a peel off mask. Once this dries, you can easily peel it off like a face or like the face mask that we applied. This is not Fevicol plus water. Please don't make this at your place. Just apply it as much that your base requires. And if there is any left out latex, put it back in the bottle. And please close the lid tight. If you leave it open, this is going to get hardened up. Okay. So now, till this dries, I will quickly wear the gloves and we'll start to prepare the resin. For today's class, I won't be able to wear a mask. Please understand, because if I wear a mask, you all won't be able to understand the process that I'm really trying to explain you all. But if there's anybody who's doing at your place, please wear your mask and the gloves. Please. Okay. And you will be requiring a plastic or a thermocol glass, any that you have. Anything is okay here, whichever that you have. And also I have some few smaller thermocol cups. And apart from it, I will be using the ice cream sticks, the reusable ones. You can also use your wooden ones as well. Okay. These are the reusable ice cream sticks that I have. So which you can keep on reusing it every time. So after drying, you can easily peel off the resin from this and reuse it for your artwork. Okay. So let's have some of the resin here. I can easily peel it off in this manner. The resin gets peeled off in this process. Okay. So you can again reuse it. Okay. So let's just quickly prepare the resin. So for today's class, I will be using the resin, which is 2:1 resin. You have 1:1, you have 2:1, you have 3:1, you have 5:3, and you have amazing number of resin ratios available in the market. But it is up to you that whichever resin that you want to choose, you can use. The resin ratios, it's just up to you, whichever that you want to use. I will be using the resin which has a resin ratio 2:1. Okay. And the art and craft, as I already said. And before turning on the weighing scale, I will explain you, keeping it very, very simple for the beginners, how to really make the resin. Okay. So I'm using 2:1 resin ratio. So 2 parts. This says I have to take 2 parts of the resin, 1 part of the hardener. If I want to take it in a bigger calculation, let's say 2 parts means 2 grams. Okay, 2 grams of resin, 1 gram of the hardener. It always goes that way. Okay, again here, this is what that my bottle says. If your resin bottle says 1:1, blindly follow that. If your bottle says 5:3, blindly follow that. Okay, this is what my bottle is saying. This is why I'm following it blindly. I'm not making anything by my own here. Okay. So I will be making 2:1 resin ratio here. If I want to take 2:1 in a bigger formation, in the bigger calculation, I'll simply multiply it by 10. So it will be 20 and 10. Keep it very, very simple for beginners. I don't want so that the beginners really get confused. Just multiply your resin ratio by 10. So 2 multiplied by 10 is 20. 1 multiplied by 10 is 10. So I'm going to take 20 and 10. 20 grams of the resin, 10 grams of the hardener. Okay, just for some time. Again, voice is gone. Tanya, what is happening? I hope it's just perfect.
It's perfect. It's perfect.
Okay, so just just allow me for some time so that we can do the practical thing, and then the questions I will be sending you, I will be answering you to each of these questions, and the list I will be sending you. I don't know why, Tanya, they're saying that the voice is gone. Is it?
Ma'am, it is perfectly audible.
Okay.
And guys, if anyone is facing any issues with the video or with the audio, I request you to please rejoin the session once, because maybe due to network or anything else, we can say the climate, you are facing this problem. If anyone amongst you are facing any audio or video problem, please rejoin the session once.
Okay, thank you. So I am just adding 20 grams of the resin now. Just go blindly with whatever that your resin bottle says. So my resin says 2:1. So I'm going to take 20 and 10. First, I will be adding the resin. Pour it slowly till you get 20 grams on your weighing scale. And this is exact 20. Don't be in hurry for this step, because trust me, if this step goes wrong, even if you do the next steps totally correct, you have the possibility of going wrong. The resin ratios play an important role in resin here. So please take the calculations very, very seriously. Next is I'm adding 10 grams of the hardener here. Keeping an eye on the weighing scale. Yes, you can try rejoining in. So here, this completely looks like a transparent color thing, where the bottom one has the resin and the above is the hardener. Okay, so now the weighing scale I will keep it aside, because to measure the resin I required the weighing scale. So now once you start to mix, it turns into milky color. Once you start to mix, it turns into milky color. Yes, I've used 2:1 resin ratio here. Okay, so I have just mixed. I'm constantly mixing it. Mixing here for minimum 2 to 3 minutes is again very, very important. Yeah, I'm using the resin for today's class. It's from Cast and Epoxy. Okay, again, there are multiple good brands. This is one of the finest brand. Apart from it, there is again a few more brands. I will be sending you the list on the class application. For 2 to 3 minutes, you have to minimum mix it. Scrape through the edges, through the bottom. Mix it thoroughly so that the resin and the hardener is properly mixed. Don't skip on this step. Let's say if you just mix it for once and you leave it, you again have the possibility of spoiling your thing. Okay, I am mixing it. Scrape through the edges, through the sides properly, so that everything is properly mixed here. Once your milky color solution turns into a transparent color, it means that it is properly ready. Your solution is properly ready. Okay, and this is properly ready now. I will divide it into two glasses, because I will be making two colors here now. So now I'll leave this glass aside for now, and I will take the colors. So the first one is the blue color that I'm using. This is the opaque pigment, and these are the resin colors. No other colors are supposed to be used. It's just this pinch of the color, just this much. Okay, and I will keep it inside the glass. The next is, so these are the opaque pigment colors. Okay, let's check with the, just check on the resin ratio. If you feel like you definitely want to add more, you can add a bit more of the resin inside the same glass. Okay, the next is the white color. I'm using the colors which are only meant for resin. So these are the resin colors. This is the white one. These are the opaque pigment colors, highly color consistent and thick paste in the form. ये सब resin color मैं use कर रही हूँ. You can also use the powder pigments. Any normal powder pigments work well. Any local powder pigment. You can also use your eyeshadow palette if you are running out of expiry date. You can use them in resin. Okay. So this is just, I've started to mix the blue color and I've got this beautiful shade. And still there is color yet to be mixed, if you can see here. So by using the resin colors, you get the end result of the shade as desired. If you use the acrylic colors, food colors, or glass colors, you won't have the result like this. For beginners, you can just try experimenting with other colors, but the resin colors outcome are just amazing. So you can just purchase a smaller 5-gram bottle of the color, of the resin colors, and then you can check whether it is working well for you or not. Okay. No, acrylic, I am saying no for any of the other colors. I'm saying only and only resin colors. Can it be opaque ones or powder pigments? Any. You can also use alcohol ink colors inside resin. This is the pretty blue color which is ready. The next is the white color which I am mixing. These are all the resin opaque pigment colors that I'm using. So these are paste, like thicker paste in the form. So they take a bit more time to be mixed. Apart from it, the powder pigments, any normal brand powder pigments work well. So the powder pigments don't really take much time to be mixed. This is the beautiful white color. Okay, so I'll just get the base here. This was the base which we had kept aside. So the latex here is dried. The thing which has turned into transparent color, which means that the latex is dried. The ones in white, which means that it is still drying. I can turn it upside down. That is not at all any harm to it. So this is going to be dried, and apart from it, I will be pouring my resin together as well. So I will take the blue color first. I'll start to pour from the corners. Start from the corners always. Always start from the corners. Keep an eye on your corners and then slowly spread it with the help of an ice cream stick. Don't use your hands. Slowly spread it. Don't pour completely. Just take some with the help of ice cream stick and then spread it. Guys, just wait. I'm not going anywhere. Let us just complete this practical thing. slowly pour it. This is how you pour in a perfect manner so that the base has a perfect resin on it. And you, in this case, you allow less drips as well. Okay, slowly spread it. And all the edges will have perfect resin. Keep an eye on the corners even after finishing it. Checking the corners again. Now I will be taking the white color which we had made, and I will be drawing some uneven lines here. Uneven lines. Never try to make straight line because they won't stay in it. I'm making some uneven lines here. And now I'll be taking a straw and I'll be just mixing the color. This is how I've mixed the colors. Let's say if you want some darker white effect of the waves on your artwork, so you can again repeat the same and you can draw the white waves in the similar formation where I have had my waves in the natural form, and you can again repeat the same process. So now just tell me who all really wants a closer look to this. Just let me know and then I'll give you all a closer look to this. Okay. Only if I get yes from each one of you, then I'll be giving you a. Okay. So yes, here we have a closer look. Should I, Tanya ma'am?
Yes, sure. Even I am having so many things to show to them.
Yes.
Guys, please do not leave because, like I already mentioned, that definitely we are having so many things to be covered. Stay here in the session itself so that you can get to see all the things in the upcoming session.
So here I assume there is something inside this. So I will just take a toothpick and I will try to remove it. Okay. With the help of a rough cloth, I will just remove it. So here, if you want the waves, okay, let me just turn off this light. Can you see the waves now?
Guys, isn't it looking very beautiful? Like the shine, the neatness, everything, the waves.
Here I again extended the waves a bit more. But here, okay, just tell me before I show you something amazing here as well. Tell me, how is it? Hey, Jigar, thank you. Thank you so much, guys. So here there are still bubbles here. If you just check on here where the light is reflecting, you can see. Yeah, thank you, Darshana. Yeah, the shine is just amazing. But here I can show you even more shine here. How can we get more shine? Here, if you can see, there are a lot of bubbles here on the artwork, which has to be popped up. The bubbles has to be popped up. So I will be using a blowtorch here to pop up the bubbles. Can you just make out the gloss, the before and after look of this? Yes, you can use that. This is the blowtorch that I used. How is it, Tanya, ma'am?
It's looking beautiful. I am like seeing my chat box before giving my own reaction. Now my chat box is already full of responses.